Okay, let's do something different, something that I never show you guys, and that's how I like to do microshading ombre. So my client, she found me on TikTok. I first step, you thoroughly clean the brows.
Let
I
me see
place
your
my
mirror
brow
again.
mapping sticker on, and then I
Sorry.
map the arch and the tail of her
Okay.
brows to make sure it
I'm
was
like, should I go
symmetrical.
thinner? But
Allow your client to check the brow shape out throughout the process. Typically, after I draw on the first brow, I let them see it. And then if they like the shape of the first brow, I move on to the second brow. Right now, I'm just cleaning everything up, all the outside hairs, because if you leave a lot of extra hairs once you start the tattooing process, it's going to get a little difficult to see where your lines are at. When I say your lines, that's the shape of the brow that you're going to be tattooing. Allow your client to sit up and check the shape out, because typically when you sit up, your facial structure moves rather than when you're laying back. She's just checking everything out, and now we can get started with the actual tattoo process, which is the micro shading process. I used a medium brown pigment on her. She has darker roots, lighter ends. She didn't want her brows to be too dark but not too light at the same time. You always start at the tail of the brows when you begin micro shading. I've already done the first pass on her brows and I numbed them. So now I'm working on the second pass. So start at the tail of the brows and work your way into the head of the brows. And each section that you're moving forward, you want to overlap 50% of the previous section that you just worked on. That way you'll create a nice ombre effect where the front of the brows is a little bit lighter than the body and the tail of the brows, just so everything will flow in seamlessly. Once you get everything numb, she doesn't feel anything. We pretty much talked the whole appointment time. We had a good time. She was excited about her brows, and I was excited for her. So I'm done with that brow. So let's move on to the next brow. As you see, I'm concentrating on that tail area. On my machine, I'm using about a 6.5 speed, and I work that tail real well just to make sure that I'm getting enough color saturation. When you're going over your passes, I suggest doing no more than 3 passes, because you don't want to work your client's skin too much. They will typically, after the session's over with, maybe a little bit swole. Their skin may be a little bit swole, but just always try to incorporate enough pigment on each pass. That way you don't have to do 4 and 5 different passes. So, like I said, start at the tail, work your way to the front of the brows. I'm just cleaning everything up. It can get a little bit messy, but that's okay. And so I'm just literally cleaning all the rest of the pigment up off her face, off her brow area. And this is her new brows tattooed on, and they look so natural. I mean, I'm so happy for her. She's been wanting to get her brows tattooed on for a while now. And this is the final results. I really love them. And then I'm just going to show you a before and after. But one more thing. So with the micro shading, it typically lasts 3 to 5 years. It just typically fades out over the years. And this is her before and after. And to book appointment, you can at browhousebeauty.com.